What's good, Commanders fans? Today's video, I just want to talk about 5 ways the offense improved this offseason. I always make this video this offseason, so I always do that. I'm going to make a video about the defense improving as well. I will be pre-recording some videos as well since it is the dry part of the season. No transactions, of course. Training, we're still waiting on training camp. We're still waiting on the news on Hard Knocks. I'm not really investing on Hard Knocks, but right now it's just kind of a dry period. I do, of course, going to talk a little bit about Porzingis in the trade for my Wizards fans. Yes, the return is certainly disappointing. I feel like we could have got more for Kristaps Porzingis, but you know, look at his trade value too. Like, we just traded him last year for Bertans, who's not good, and Dinwiddie, who was awful with the Wizards, and the Dallas Mavericks gave us a second-round pick and Porzingis. So it is what it is on that part, man. It's disappointing. It's a disappointing trade return, but Tommy Shepard and Ted Leonsis, they put the Wizards in a bad spot before the new front office has started their rebuild. So they could have traded Porzingis at the trade deadline. They could have traded Bradley Beal last year, 2 years ago at the trade deadline. It definitely got a better return than what they did. So it is just disappointing to see what we've got. We haven't even gotten a first-round pick back for Bradley Beal or even Kristaps Porzingis. So it's super, super disappointing as a Wizards fan. But the NBA draft is tonight, and I'm super, super excited. My prediction at 8 is going to be I'm going to go with Anthony Black. Anthony Black out of Arkansas. That's going to be my prediction. But let's get to the football talk here. Before we do get into that, of course, this episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. Make sure you guys use my 100% deposit match promo code. Helping you guys out. Take advantage of this promo while it's going on for Prize Picks. My promo code is RealEdOliver. You get 100% deposit match up to $100, $50, $20, whatever you deposit. Prize Picks will match you. So use the link down below in the description. I'll give you guys a couple picks for the NFL season. These are before the NFL season starts. Take advantage of these right now, guys, because Brian Robinson, I'm pretty sure that his rushing yards were pretty low. They just put his rushing yards up there. So 825.5 over, under his rushing yards. I'm going to take over. He had 700 rushing yards last year in only 12 games. Like, let that sink in. Like, imagine if he would have played 17 games. He would have got easily over 1,000 yards. Terry McLaurin, his stat is pretty low. His receiving yards, 899. He's got 1,000 yards receiving with mediocre quarterbacks. So he's easily going to get over 899 in my opinion. And then Calvin Ridley, I've been taking the lesser on his receiving touchdowns. I might have to take that off and change it to Chris Olave from the Saints to get over on receiving yards, 999.5. Might have to take the over, especially with him getting Derek Carr as his quarterback. They're going to target Chris Olave or a lot. So, all right, let's get into the video. Like I said, promo code is RealEdOliver, 100% deposit match. The link is down below in the description. All right, so let's start off with the first way the Commanders improved. Of course, hiring Eric Bieniemy as the associate head coach, or the offensive coordinator / associate head coach. You just bring a guy with championship pedigree, was the offensive coordinator of the year in the 2020 season as well. This guy has brought attention to detail already. Accountability already, just hyping guys up. Jahan Dotson saying that he sees the talent in him, and it's his job, it's Eric Bieniemy's job to get the most talent out of Jahan Dotson. Same thing with Antonio Gibson. They want to get more out of Antonio Gibson. The way they've been targeting tight ends in practice, the way they've been practicing screens. We're just talking about screens, like little stuff. That's the attention to detail. People are hyped up to talk about a screen pass, you know, and that's some of the things that we've been lacking. Just creativity in this offense. And using the screen game. Like, there's one time in practice where John Keim said that they cooked the defense in a screen pass so badly that a defender was like, y'all doing trick plays now? But they were like, the offense was like, no, that was just a screen, bro. Like, that's how good they've been doing screens in practice. I know we're just talking about practice and OTAs, but that's just some of the installs and stuff that you're seeing that I'm intrigued to see. Like, remember Antonio Gibson's screen against the Buffalo Bills, where he scampered up the field for basically like a 90-yard screen pass touchdown. Like, look at all the guys that we can put and use in space. Jahan Dotson in space, Terry in space, Gibby in space, B-Rob in space, Curtis in space. Like, he's been lining up Jahan Dotson in the backfield too. Look at the trick play that they ran with screen. It wasn't, I don't even think, it might not have been a trick play. That could have been a screen as well for Sky Moore to get the touchdown. Kadarius Toney to get an easy touchdown in the red zone. Those plays were called and drawn up by Eric Bieniemy. Those installs were put in the week of the Super Bowl by Eric Bieniemy. So just getting that championship pedigree and just a leader and a proven leader, Eric Bieniemy as the offensive coordinator / associate head coach, just speaks volumes. And in the red zone as well. That's certainly his remember the trick play as well, where they did the ring around the rosy, where they just got creative. Those are some of the things that he did with the Chiefs. Now, of course, they did have a different personnel with an MVP quarterback in Pat Mahomes. Can he do that with a developing quarterback in Sam Howell? And if Jacoby does have to play, if he does have to step on the field with a journeyman quarterback in Jacoby Brissett, but he does have the weapons with Curtis, Jahan, Terry, B-Rob, Gibby, like so many weapons, Logan Thomas, so many guys, Cole Turner. We're just loaded with weapons on the offense side of the ball. I'm excited to see how Eric Bieniemy can get the best out of this offense, using B-Rob, getting those carries to him. And he is a former running backs coach, so we know he wants to get the running game going. And they will not have a second half like that Giants game at home on Sunday Night Football where B-Rob was averaging 8 yards a carry and he barely gets any touches in the second half. That was inexcusable from our last offensive coordinator, and I highly doubt that we see that from Eric Bieniemy. And he's already changing the practice style. He wants to watch film before training camp so Sam Howell can get that attention to detail, see where he made mistakes. Same thing with Jacoby Brissett. And then they're going to practice where they practice, and then after that they watch film. So it's already changed up the practice schedule, getting coaches in there earlier, offensive coordinator, the offensive staff. He's getting guys in earlier than what they used to. So just that championship style of practice, I'm super excited for from Eric Bieniemy. Now, of course, he's a yeller, but he yells with a purpose. Now, when you start losing games, of course, the yelling and stuff, players continue out. So I'm intrigued to see how players react to it. I think a lot of the guys are already loving it and the accountability that they have with Eric Bieniemy, and just the toughness that he shows. Like, he was going in on Brian Robinson for missing a block. We didn't hear much about that. And a lot of people at minicamp have already said that they barely heard Scott Turner talk, and you just heard so much from Eric Bieniemy. Eric Bieniemy stands on the other side of the field. That's why I can't wait to go to training camp. Most likely I'll be going when they play against the Ravens for the open practice. But I just can't wait to see how Eric Bieniemy interacts with the players and just how demanding he is and how much how his presence is felt basically as another head coach out there. But like I said, sometimes yelling is not for everybody, but we'll see how these guys respond. I think they're all tough players and tough-minded guys, so we'll see how it works out. But I think Eric Bieniemy definitely is a huge, potentially a huge improvement over Scott Turner. So we got to see him we got to see him. This is going to be our first time seeing Eric without Andy Reid in a couple years and without Pat Mahomes. So this is going to be a big test for Eric. And can he potentially be promoted to head coach this year if everything works out? If everything goes out and Ron Rivera is just fatigued and tired because he is getting older. He's been through a lot. He kind of sounds a little tired in interviews too. He has been more of an overseer or more of just a manager because he's given so many responsibilities to Eric. He's given responsibilities to Jack Del Rio. He's kind of just a manager where he's less hands-on than what he has been in the past because he trusts Eric Bieniemy. So, all right, so that's a huge way we improve. Now, next I'll just go through the other options or the other ways that we improve very quickly. Now, a lot of the moves that we made were internal moves to improve the team. We didn't really go out and sign. We didn't need to sign a receiver. We didn't draft or sign a tight end. So the skill positions, we didn't make a lot of moves. Running backs, we drafted a running back in the 6th round. We didn't make a lot of big moves on the offensive side of the ball. Really, the offensive line is where we did change stuff up. Got a couple veterans, but an internal move is that they want to get Antonio Gibson more involved. Now, they do say this every offseason. It's kind of like wash, rinse, repeat. They compare him with Christian McCaffrey. They say the same mumbo-jumbo every offseason, but I think it's pretty real this time. I really do. And this is the quote from Ron Rivera saying that Antonio Gibson, he can be a matchup a nightmare. And Rivera also went on to say Eric wants to make sure Antonio Gibson gets as many opportunities right now to show us what he's capable of, because I think that'll be a big part of the game planning. So we know that Gibson's a wide receiver / running back coming out of Memphis. You look at the nice catch against the Jags. You look at the screen pass against the Bills. They really want to get this guy involved in the screen game and in the passing game as another wide receiver out there too. They just want to get him involved, man. He is a weapon, so they have to use him. And I think the philosophy that Eric Bieniemy is going to bring and the aggressiveness that he wants to get Antonio Gibson involved more this season, I think that is a way of improvement for sure. Next is Logan Thomas. I'm going to bank on his health. I think just a healthy Logan Thomas coming back certainly is going to improve the offense. We need that production from a tight end. We need that production that he had in 2020. If we get that production from him and the trio of receivers that we have with Gibby, B-Rob, and Logan Thomas playing like he did in 2020 and Cole Turner being a nice duo or a second tight end, move tight end, then we got something cooking here. So another thing, Zach Selby said that it looks like Washington Titans are going to be heavily involved in the passing game. There was a rumor that came out, too, that they want him to be in that Travis Kelce role. I'm not going to compare Logan Thomas to Travis Kelce, but if you can have that security blanket for Sam Howell at tight end in the red zone that we struggled in. Logan Thomas didn't get a lot of targets in the red zone. That was the thing that we struggled at, was converting the red zone. And Logan Thomas being there as good as he was in 2020 and in 2021 before he tore his ACL, and how good he's looked in practice. Linnell Willingham said that Logan Thomas is going to catch a lot of touchdowns because of the way he's played in practice. And John Keim also talked about the basketball aspect of it. Logan Thomas is just boxing out guys. He's big bodying guys. Those 50-50 catches, Logan Thomas is already doing a really, really good job of it coming back from injury. So that's another way we improved. Another way that we improved I have right now is the center depth. And I'll give Sam Howell some credit too. I just want to see more from him, but I would say the accuracy. He's just a more accurate quarterback than Carson and Taylor Heineke, in my opinion. Still more to see, but of course we're just going to base it off that one game and in college. But the way he threw guys open, I just didn't see that much with Taylor or Carson last year. And I'm a big Taylor Heineke fan, but you just saw the yak ability and the yak that he gave guys opportunities to have with Jahan Dotson and Curtis and Terry McLaurin in that last game of the season against Dallas. All right, last two real quick, and then we'll wrap it up. I'm going to say the center depth, getting Nick Gates, Ricky Stromberg, and Tyler Larson. We have depth with guys who know how to snap the football. We had guys that could barely even snap a football last year, snapping the ball over Carson's head, low snaps. I forgot the guy's name that was in the Philly game. Like, it's barely snap a football. And then we had Wes Schweitzer playing at center. So the center depth is better this year. Nick Gates, of course, he has an injury history with the broken leg or the tibia and torn fibula or whatever it was at FedEx Field. But I think the depth is just better. So we are prepared for if somebody gets injured, we have somebody that can step up in Tyler Larson. Ricky Stromberg, who was really good in college. Of course, he's a rookie, but we have guys that can step up. And then also Andrew Wiley at right tackle and Sam Cosmi at guard. I just think those guys are going to be better than Andrew Norwell and what we had last year with Trey Turner. So I'm intrigued. I think those are some improvements right there. Now, just looking at PFF to see where they rank this offensive line, I'll read that to you guys and I'll wrap it up. They said another line, we're ranked 27th for the offensive line out of the NFL. The Eagles are ranked first in the NFL with their offensive line. They said another line with significant turnover. Washington is likely changing four starters between new acquisitions and position switches. Last season's group had very little in the way of continuity, but so much change doesn't help the adjustment of quarterback Sam Howell as he comes in to try and win a starting job long term. They said the best player on the offensive line is Charles Leno per PFF, which is not great to hear. They said Charles Leno epitomizes a solid start in the NFL, but that means he will lose more than often than many like to see. He surrendered 8 sacks in 2022, but allowed just 37 pressures overall on 669 pass blocking snaps. So that's not good to hear from PFF, but PFF is not the Bible. They're not the tell-all. But Charles Leno, it's tough to say. I would say Andrew Wiley is the best one on the offensive line. He wasn't great last year either, to be honest with you. And Sam Cosmi, he can be a little injury prone from here and there. But once again, just want to say thank you guys for the birthday wishes. That was my wife who posted on the community tab for me, so shout out to her for that. With the Chase Young jersey, I know she got me a Chase Young jersey. I thank her for that for sure. I know how you guys feel about Chase Young, but I'm still rooting for Chase Young for sure. So I thank you guys for the birthday wishes. I'm getting older and older, man. It is what it is on that, man. I'm getting older, but I'm thankful and blessed to see these years and talk football with you guys for sure. I thank you guys for subscribing with me for the past couple of years. You guys have definitely made this fun. So I had a great birthday, had a great Father's Day last weekend. My birthday was yesterday. So I'm getting older, man. I'm getting older. Having more fun with you guys though, for sure. So, and check me out on Locked On Wizards tonight. Talking to NBA draft. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. All right, you guys. Or Kobe Buffkin. He might be the pick at pick 8 for the Wizards. Held to Commanders. Peace.